What's up? We got Arrow, Season 1, Episode 5, Damage. So this episode starts off on an island where we see Oliver training with his mentor, who I don't think we got a name yet. And he's training him how to do the archery skill that we see him in, and he hits it, but Oliver's the guy hits it. I don't want to say the name of the character, but yeah. So, the guy's like, "Hey, you clean up over there," but he's like, "Hey, you pick it up, and I'll learn how." So then we flashback out of that flashback, and we see Oliver being arrested, being pursued, being in handcuffs because remember at the end of the last episode, Oliver was arrested for allegedly, quote, allegedly, Quentin thinking he is the Hood. But obviously, we know that's true, but they think it's true. But Oliver has made his mission to tell them, yeah, that's not true at all. And then Moira comes in saying, yeah, you have. Oh, sorry about that. Fix that. Like, you have no obligation to you have no reason to arrest Oliver. But he's like, yeah, I do. And she's like, I know you have something against our family, but why would you arrest Oliver? And he's like, because I know the truth. And she's like, Oliver, we'll get you out of this. And he's like, no, I want Laurel. And she's like, and Moira's like, Oliver, you think your ex-girlfriend is going to prosecute you? Come on. So yeah, so Moira obviously goes to Laurel and is like, hey, I want your help, and Oliver wants your help, but she's like, my father is the arresting officer, and do you really think I'm gonna help? And she's like, I told Oliver that too, but he's like, if you don't help him, he's gonna do it himself. So then we see Oliver do it himself. And then the actual real scene that would never work in a real courtroom, Laurel just busts in and decides to take this case on. Which in a real courtroom, this wouldn't work, because when Laurel had to talk to Oliver about him being her lawyer, not just buzzing and saying she's gonna take the job, and so Laurel's like, hey, give him an ankle monitor, and Oliver's like, no, but of course. But this show being unrealistic to an actual law, which I've never studied, I'm only 18, but I've watched Better Call Saul, this is totally not true. Wouldn't they have to ask Oliver how he feels about it instead of just saying, yeah, that's the plan, put him on an ankle bracelet? Wouldn't they have to ask Oliver how he feels about it? And I have no idea. This is not how real law works. So yeah, so Laurel's like, Oliver, I know you're not the Hood because that guy's a guardian angel, and and I know that you have no capability to be that person. Laurel, savage. And yeah, so they put an ankle bracelet on Oliver, and Oliver's like, hey, let's have a party. And Tommy's like, yeah, that's a bad idea. Yeah, for a former partier, Tommy telling Oliver to have a party is not to have a party. He's kind of out of character. Tommy and Oliver had a party in the first episode. So why now Oliver wants to go to jail party? Tommy's like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. Why? So Diggle decides to. My boy Dig is like, hey Oliver, hey Oliver, what's up? And Oliver shows him this new bad guy named William Mueller who is selling guns. So he's like, sorry, Oliver, how are you supposed to be there and be on house arrest at the exact same time? So he's like, dig second plan, you put on the hood and every vigilante has to have his toy. So Diggle goes down to the bunker, which he must have had to drive because he wouldn't have had to run to a Queen Consolidated building, and touches one of Oliver's arrows and it hurts him. Okay, wouldn't have been able to hurt Oliver too. Okay, so then we see the lady there say, Oliver, like, let's have Oliver have a plea of insanity because he was on an island for 5 years. But Oliver's like, I'm like, no. Oliver's like, no. But he's like, hey, I'll have a polygraph. And, and she's like, not in front of the jury. I need a polygraph from Quentin. He's the one I need to convince that I'm not the hood. So, and I was like, Oliver, are you crazy? A polygraph is a bad idea. So eventually they take the polygraph. So back on the island, Oliver got captured by these bad guys led by a bad guy named Fire. And and they were like, hey, have you seen Yao Fei? And Oliver, the guy in the picture, and Oliver's like, sometimes they call him Yao Fei, so I'm gonna keep calling him that. Sometimes it's just him. And Oliver's like, no, I've never seen that guy. He's like, you're a terrible liar, bro. And so he, like, sent his associate, Deathstroke. Yeah, we know it's Deathstroke. But which one? Who knows? So he sends his, he's like, you were alone on the island, Oliver? And he's like, no. And he's like, your body is full of scar tissue. Like, how would someone being alone be able to get those things? And he's like, I wasn't alone. The guys who did tortured him. And we see the blade, like, pierce through Oliver. Which is kind of like, and he's like, have you ever killed anyone? And he's like, yeah, I killed your daughter, bro. And he's like, when I killed your daughter, Sarah, when she came onto the boat with him. So obvious. So Laurel, gives Thea the, always like, Thea, I'm not the hood, and she's like, of course you weren't, but you gave her an arrowhead. And he's like, if I gave you a panda keychain, would you think he's Panda Man? Which is kind of funny, but so kind of funny. So Oliver's, so Laurel shows up. She and Oliver obviously kiss, and then Laurel is like, oh, you just kissed my boyfriend again? And Laurel leaves. So Oliver's saying, Laurel, don't leave as she leaves. So so Diggle beats up bad guys, and so Oliver has a going away party with Quentin Lance being there for some odd reason. Like, you're at a party and Quentin is just randomly there in the audience. No Laurel, no police, just him by himself. Why is he there? Why did they need Quentin in the scene? This episode could have done without Quentin, and the scene could have been done without Quentin, and nothing would be. So Oliver decides to. So Walter, Moira's husband, discovered the Queen Gambit last episode. He tried to have Felicity, look into it, but something happened, so he discovered the Queen's Gambit, and now he tells his guy that he's looking to look into it, but that guy ended up being killed by Malcolm Merlin, as we learn later. So Moira's kind of like, because Moira's obviously a bitch, she's like, we learned this. She's like, please Stay honest, Walter. You're going to be hurt by bad people. Stop looking into this. But yeah, because the guy that he had, as I said, was killed by Malcolm Merlin. So he decides to go somewhere, and look at more into this thing. So he's off for I don't know how long. Don't know how long. So obviously, Malcolm sends a guy after Oliver, suspecting he's the Hood, and Quentin comes in and shoots the guy because Diggle defeated all those guys. So Quentin's like, "You're not the Hood anymore," and Moira's obviously mad about this and saying, "You sent a guy after her own son," and he's like, "Yeah, because I thought he was the Hood," and she's like, "Now that you've proven wrong, stop it, and if you go after her family one more time, she'll make sure that that Merlin's whole world turns to ashes." Boy, was that savage. Even though I don't like Moira, even though she's working for this main villain, she's still sometimes a savage. And yeah, so Laurel comes back with the polygraph saying, "Hey, when you did the whole Iron Heights thing, that you've never been to Iron Heights, you fluttered during that question, meaning that if you came back, if you lied on one, you could have lied on all the others, which is true, that he did lie on the others." So he's like, "Hey, the reason why I don't talk about my island there is because you won't. If I tell you, you won't see me as a guy who came back to Island. You'll see him as damaged." And then he tells Diggle, he's like, "So you lied to her, Oliver." He's like, I told her what you need to hear, Diggle. She was getting too close." And then as Diggle narrates about how Oliver has no idea how many people, we see Thea for some reason look at the arrowhead. Yeah. We have some reason Thea look at the arrowhead, and as I said, Walter leaves because Walter decides to just leave for some random reason. And Oliver decides to bust in on this bad guy saying, "Liam Mueller, you have failed this city." Ending the episode. So, what's up to this great? It was. Of course, Sarah's dead, everything happened, and Yelfe saved Oliver. Yelfe saved Oliver to trap him in a cave-in. So where did Yelfe go? Where'd the guy go? I keep saying Yelfe because that's the name, but where did he go? What happened? But yeah, so that was this episode of Arrow. I'll see you next time, and as we go through this Arrowverse journey with more Arrow.